I'm a severe gambling addict. Every single addiction is gambling addiction. If you drink and drive, you're gambling. Addiction is one of those things you can't apply logic to. People go, what are you running from, Dave? And it's like, well, I'm fucking running from myself, dude. I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see myself. I hate myself. So I'm just running. So as long as I'm like doing graffiti, running from the police, you know, just hopping on a train, like literal running, like literally running to make sure I'm never sit still for 1 second. Like, what are you doing, Dave? I'm playing drums in a band. I'm at a casino. I'm traveling, doing the news for Vice. I'm painting at this. Like, I can't sit still because that means I have to sit with myself, and I can't do that. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I can now.
I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. My guest today is David Choe. David Choe is an artist. He's a highly accomplished painter, graffiti and street artist, writer, podcaster, and television host. Many of you are perhaps familiar with David as the guy who famously painted the original Facebook offices, took equity for the job, and got rich. Now, that's a wild story, but David's whole life journey, what he did prior to and after that, and what he has overcome along the way is a million times wilder. As he shares today, David grew up hearing and thinking that he was destined for greatness, but also hearing and thinking that he was a total disgrace. Today, he talks with complete openness and vulnerability about addiction, about cycles of success and failure, and about channeling and overcoming deep shame. Today's podcast is unlike any other that I've hosted. David is wide open about his childhood abuse, his massive success, then career setbacks, relapses, and transmuting every possible emotion into art along the way. So no matter who you are, David's story, and just as importantly, how he's living right now, how he shows up on this podcast, will change what you think is possible for you in life. It will force you to look inward and to use whatever joy and pain you have inside of you to be the best human being you can possibly be. David Choe is, as we say in science, an N of one, meaning there is no other like him. Yes, because of his incredible art, but also for his willingness to share so openly and honestly so that others can benefit and grow. I consider it a true honor and privilege to host David on this podcast, and frankly, it's impossible not to love him. This one is incredibly raw and honest. It's also full of surprises, many of which are fun surprises. So buckle up. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that this podcast is separate from my teaching and research roles at Stanford. It is, however, part of my desire and effort to bring zero cost to consumer information about science and science-related tools to the general public. In keeping with that theme, today's episode does include sponsors. And now for my discussion with David Choe. David Choe. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
Man, huge, longtime fan. Love your art. I've been super inspired by your YouTube channel. I watch it sometimes before I do my drawing or I prepare for a podcast.
What are you drawing?
I draw a lot of anatomy on top of some paintings. So I do neuroanatomy on top of some paintings that my friend Tim Armstrong's been doing. Musician, lead singer.
Is it anatomically correct, or is it like exaggerated, or is it?
This is a really good question. So in essence, it's anatomically correct.
Yeah.
But around the turn of the last century, two guys, Cajal and Golgi, won the Nobel Prize for drawing the nervous system and showing these things no one had seen before. And they stripped away everything except
I'm gonna
the essential piece.
I'm going to come paint with you.
Yeah.
I don't like what's happening in your painting studio.
Okay.
I'm just from what you said so far, it's not good.
Okay.
But it's good because you did that, and then now we have to strip that away. We have to get at the core of it, because painting is. Wait, weren't you in the middle of complimenting me? Like, keep going.
I mean, I love your YouTube channel. I watch it before I prepare podcasts and before I paint or draw. And I'm back to drawing a lot now. And I converted an art gallery into a living space. And somehow I thought that would make me more inspired. But it turns out it does. A lot of things do. But I think the key with anatomy and trying to teach science with drawings is can't be too much detail, can't be too little detail. Otherwise, people are overwhelmed.
It's the best thing for, I think, everyone. But for someone like you who spends a lot of time in your head, I always say the longest journey you'll ever take in your life is from your head to your heart. And to be an intellectual person, you just live a lot. You try to rationalize and apply logic to everything. So painting is not that, music is not that, creating is not that. It's just to get to this. And so but it sounds just in the little that you've explained that your painting is very methodical and which
super meticulous.
Yeah,
I want to include every cell type. Yeah.
What's your threshold for positive affirmations? Can I go now? Like you?
I mean,
All right.
I like to think I have a thick skin, but
All right, let's
who
go.
knows?
No, it's all love. Okay. For anyone who's watching or listening, this is my first time meeting Adam.
Andrew. All good.
There
Yeah,
you go.
all good. All good. You knew my last name. No,
You know what? I was thinking about my friend Adam.
all good.
That that used to skate with, I think. Adam Crone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking like
Upper playground.
Yeah, upper playground.
Yeah,
So,
his dad owns Crone's Shoes
Yeah.
in Palo Alto.
He
He worked there.
He wants to reconnect with you.
Man, Adam
Yeah.
Crone and I grew up together.
Yeah, I was just
He had a mini ramp in his backyard. We hung out, we skateboarded, and then he started Upper Playground, the Walrus.
that's it.
He's your homie?
I used to I did tons of graphics for Upper Playground. So
Wow.
does anyone call you Andy?
My skateboard friends call me Andy. So yeah.
But that's it. Like no one in the medical science world.
Not anymore. No, not really.
That would have you start your podcast and you're like, I'm Andrew Huberman.
Yep.
I'm gonna be all over the place because I'm nervous being here right now. I hardly do podcasts anymore, so I'm gonna be all over the place. If that it's gonna be sloppy.
This
All
is
right.
your canvas, man.
Okay.
Have fun.
Well, I'm just meeting you. I already called you the wrong name, which is horrible. I hate the black. I hate it. Like
The studio.
this you with the black T-shirt, the black mugs, the black I don't like it for you, because I used to only wear black because I was like, I'm a painter. I'm always dirty. I don't want to you could see the ketchup stains on my sweater, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But I just colors are very important in not just painting, but the palette for your house, or most people talk about in the modern age, modern man is, and I just make shit up, so you could correct. You're like the facts guy, but I feel like most people, human beings alive today, are gonna die a very, it's mean to say boring, but just the same death, right? You'll most likely die laying down in a bed or hospice or in a hospital bed. It's just like no one's dying. I know there's other countries where there's war and famine, but I'm saying modern cities, there's not a hero's death, right? So it's all the same. And then you just, the drive here in traffic, it's like everyone either has a black car or a white car or a gray car. And then you get to their house and their house is a beige or a white. And you're just like, we only got one of these, whatever your views on the afterlife are, but this is it. This is it. This is it. And it's just people get mad of I spilled paint on the floor. I got a scratch. I'm like, paint everything. Paint your fucking car. Paint and make my kids drew my sweater. It's my favorite,
I like that sweater.
paint, so I walk in here and I go, fuck, dude. And I'm projecting on you now. When I wore all black, it said a lot about where I was at in my life. And I don't know where you're at because I'm just meeting you, but it's everything is black on black, black on this, black T-shirt, black mug, black, and it's white T-shirt. For my dream, selfishly, my dream is this podcast would start, instead of saying, hey, I'm Andrew Huberman, Stanford scientist, it's just, hi, I'm Andy. And then can you Photoshop a white T-shirt on?
I'd wear a white T-shirt.
I don't know. I don't like black. For me, I have hardly ever black clothes anymore. I want to add as much color because I just maybe that's the season I am in my life or the time I'm in. But yeah, I appreciate you saying the nice stuff. I never thought I would be a YouTuber, but that's providing a lot of joy in my life. And so I want to say to you, I'm meeting you for the first time. I've never seen you clean shaven. But I imagine, your beard and facial hair to me look very cute. You're very handsome. Your voice, when I hear your voice, immediately is soothing. And I feel like this is a very kind person. Once again, without having, now I've met you for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, this guy's super awesome. But, like these kind of parasocial relationships where I could go even, I don't know how hard you want to go today, but like, it's like I meet people all the time and then I meet them and it's like, I've already met you. Like we've already talked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your views on telepathy and spirituality. And it's like, it's just everyone will meet. Everything's going to happen the way it's going to happen and everyone's going to meet who they need to meet. It's like all energy, right? You put this like, why, you know, I could sit there and go, why does Andrew Huberman want to meet me right now? And it's like, well, what am I putting out in the universe and what is he putting out in the universe? And do the souls connect in that way, you know? So I said, if I ever meet him, I just want to tell him how cute he is, how soothing and relaxing. And like, there's something very, this is the invisible ingredient in like everything in art is, did the person care, right? Like, I don't care how skilled and crafted, whatever, like, did the person care? And like, when you do stuff in your voice, the tone, the frequency that's hitting my soul is like, oh, I don't know everything that guy's saying. He's using some big words, but I feel like he cares. And so I said, if I ever meet you, and I know a little bit from us talking on the phone, but I don't know your whole backstory, but I'm like, also, I project a lot and I make a lot of assumptions, which that's a defect that I'm working on. But I just wanted to say, like, even though you had a horrific, traumatic childhood, like, the fact that you're here, you're alive, and that you're doing all this good stuff, it makes me emotional because I'm like, I don't even know you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and you're still a little bit immature, but progress, not perfection, right? So I think that's it for now, but I just wanted to tell you all that because I feel that way about you. And I'm a big, sometimes you feel stuff and you're like, I'll text it to them or maybe I'll, and I just go, no, if I feel that, I just want to, especially if it's love and positivity. I know I started by telling you how much I hate your decor and your interior decorating, but it's because I like you. Like I wouldn't, if I'm like, I don't give a shit about this guy and I don't want a relationship with, I would never say anything. But I'm like, I don't know what the science behind it, but being surrounded by this much black cannot be good, right? It can't, like, just we're walking into a black hole right now. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh man. Well, I'll take that in. Thank you. A lot there. Thank you.
Were you able to take it in?
Yeah, I was able to take in some of that.
All right.
It's interesting when you call me Andy. It's a different part of my persona, just because that names carry a lot.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna take that in, and I get this little voice in my head that's saying, I want to be very clear. I had some rough aspects of my childhood. I've made good amends with my parents, so we're good now. I say that to, for all the reasons people can assume. But here's the thing. I knew somehow that we'd eventually cross paths. I just didn't know when. So you say the telepathy thing. For me, I was a postdoc at Stanford. That comes after PhD. You do like 5 years. It's kind of like a residency. And I'm from the South Bay. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to go back to the South Bay because, as you know, no disrespect to the South Bay, a lot of interesting things come out of there, but it was pretty devoid of the things that I like, which normally are in cities like art, live music. It used to be like that. Grateful Dead were in Palo Alto. I saw Fugazi play at the Edge on California Avenue. There was a lot of interesting things about Palo Alto, but it became very right angles when the tech industry really exploded there. And in 2007, when I was a postdoc, was when you were muraling at Facebook. I learned that later.
Yeah.
But that was a time when I was back there for my science career, and I was pretty miserable being close to home again, honestly. I didn't want to ever go back there for a while. It was not healing. But when I learned your story about muraling at Facebook and some of that, I was like, oh, there was at least one other person here who was like in the kind of spiritual, emotional fight with what the South Bay is. And then I realized that I heard an interview with Ian MacKay from Minor Threat. And it turns out he had been in Palo Alto because his dad was an academic or something like that.
Of course.
And he had skated some of the same ditches we had. And so there's a history of people being really frustrated with being there
Really good Vietnamese food.
And is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, in Palo Alto or the South Bay?
Yeah, South
Oh yeah,
Bay.
Castro Street, Mountain View. Yeah, and it's changed a lot. But take me back to 2007. I don't know how you feel about historical
Okay,
stuff.
so
But
I'm definitely down to time travel and time jump and
Yeah.
all that, but because I'm older, I'm 49, and my attention span is just completely fried. I'll just say right now, I'm gonna get a lot of dates wrong. Like I'm not like things people are like that's like
2007 was when the Facebook offices were what kids from the South Bay call the neck of University Avenue, right before it goes under the train tracks. As soon as you're on the other side of the train tracks, Caltrain, it becomes Palm Drive, and it's up to Stanford. And so those offices now are Palantir, which catches a lot of heat for other reasons. But those offices, right as you go under the train tracks, for us, there was a curb cut right there, and there was a board slide thing. And so for the skateboarders, it was one thing, but then that was Facebook offices. And years later, I heard David Choe was muraling at Facebook. So how did that come to be?
I'm gonna be like very sloppy, like I said, and it's maybe some of the stuff because sometimes it's the way I treat talking and journalism and podcasts is like it's like a story in my own head. Someone else is like, just shut the fuck up and answer the question, right? But like for me, when I paint, I don't sketch. I go straight to a finish, so sometimes I'm figuring out what I'm trying to tell you because you asked me a question that's very direct, but the way it went into my head was very abstract because if you let me do a little paint mixing, I hope I'll answer your question. But do you know Pee-wee? Like I'm wearing it today. Do you know Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I knew. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I met him actually once.
Paul Rubens?
Yeah, at a photo show of Mike Muller and Sage, who draws butterflies on Mike Muller's sharks and animals.
Oh.
And Pee Wee Herman in his thing, in his suit, the whole thing, walked up. Laird Hamilton was there.
Nice.
And he walks up to Laird Hamilton. There are a bunch of people around. Everyone's trying to get to Laird. Laird. Laird's like this was 2017, and it was in West Hollywood. And Pee Wee Herman walks up and he goes, "I have to meet you." And Laird's like, and the best thing is Laird just goes, "Oh, hello, what's your name?" Like typical Laird. Like Laird's a real gentleman, always, And
he didn't know who Pee Wee Herman was?
And I couldn't tell if he knew or not.
God.
And he's like, "I've always wanted to meet you," this kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, no way. And he had the whole thing, like the shiny lips and the thing. And I was like, that's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to tell you my Pee Wee Herman story at some point.
I'd like to take a quick break and acknowledge our sponsor, 8 Sleep. 8 Sleep makes smart mattress covers with cooling, heating, and sleep tracking capacity. One of the best ways to ensure you get a great night's sleep is to make sure that the temperature of your sleeping environment is correct. And that's because in order to fall asleep and stay deeply asleep, your body temperature actually has to drop by about 1 to 3 degrees. And in order to wake up feeling refreshed and energized, your body temperature actually has to increase by about 1 to 3 degrees. 8 Sleep automatically regulates the temperature of your bed throughout the night according to your unique needs. I've been sleeping on an 8 Sleep mattress cover for nearly 5 years now, and it has completely transformed and improved the quality of my sleep. The latest 8 Sleep model is the Pod 5. This is what I'm now sleeping on, and I absolutely love it. It has so many incredible features. For instance, the Pod 5 has a feature called Autopilot, which is an AI engine that learns your sleep patterns and then adjusts the temperature of your sleeping environment across different sleep stages. It'll even elevate your head if you're snoring, and it makes other shifts to optimize your sleep. If you would like to try 8 Sleep, go to 8sleep.com/Huberman to get $450 off the Pod 5 Ultra. This is part of 8 Sleep's extended holiday sale, which goes from now until December 31st, 2025. 8 Sleep ships to many countries worldwide, including Mexico and the UAE. Again, that's 8sleep.com/Huberman to save up to $450 now through December 31st, 2025. Today's episode is also brought to us by Element. Element is an electrolyte drink that has everything you need and nothing you don't. That means the electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, and potassium, all in the correct ratios, but no sugar. Proper hydration is critical for brain and body function. Even a slight degree of dehydration can diminish your cognitive and physical performance. It's also important that you get adequate electrolytes. The electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, and potassium, are vital for the functioning of all cells in your body, especially your neurons or your nerve cells. Drinking Element makes it very easy to ensure that you're getting adequate hydration and adequate electrolytes. My days tend to start really fast, meaning I have to jump right into work or right into exercise. So to make sure that I'm hydrated and I have sufficient electrolytes, when I first wake up in the morning, I drink 16 to 32 ounces of water with an Element packet dissolved in it. I also drink Element dissolved in water during any kind of physical exercise that I'm doing, especially on hot days when I'm sweating a lot and losing water and electrolytes. Element has a bunch of great tasting flavors. In fact, I love them all. I love the watermelon, the raspberry, the citrus, and I really love the lemonade flavor. So if you'd like to try Element, you can go to drinkelement.com/Huberman to claim a free Element sample pack with any purchase. Again, that's drinkelement.com/Huberman to claim a free sample pack.
For me, art as a kid growing up, like the trifecta, my holy trinity of children's education, art, entertainment is Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and then, of course, Pee Wee Herman. I mean, Pee Wee Herman had Lawrence Fishburne, Gary Panter, Mark Mothersbaugh, like Danny Elfman. Like, he was like the ringleader of all this creativity, and he had like Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho. And do you remember the secret word?
Oh.
The secret word was like, if anyone's our age that's watching Pee Wee's Playhouse, it was like, today's secret word is, I don't know. What's our secret word today, Rob? Microphone. And if someone says microphone, scream real loud. So can we do that today?
Sure.
All right. I'm counting on you. I want you to scream the loudest. And you don't take a pee until we take a pee. We got an agreement on that? Okay. All right. I hated the South Bay. I hate, like, I have all the typical artist traits. I'm clinically depressed. I'm bipolar. I have all the process addictions: food, sex, gambling, shopping, workaholism. Like, thank God I don't have any of the chemical addictions because I'm allergic to everything. But severe OCD, severe antisocial traits. I just highly sensitive, So I just coming here today, like you asked me and I kept like, I don't know, we did this like dance for a few months and if I'm just being honest with you, like, I don't know how to not be me, And sometimes like I put a mask on and I'm like, I think this is what Andrew wants me to be today, but I didn't even meet you yet. And so every time I've done Joe Rogan or any other podcast, like, I don't know, I just feel comfortable doing my own YouTube or my own podcast. But anytime anyone else asks me, it's I know who I am, and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I figure that out. And sometimes you meet people on the street at pavilions or at the supermarket, and they're like, and it's like this parasocial thing where it's like, I know you, I relate to you, there's something about that where, the intimacy of meeting another human being and then just showing them your heart and then telling them everything. And my parents aren't going to listen to this. My brothers don't listen to it. Like, so in a weird way, like, you're going to know more about me today than my own family. So the parasocial thing is it's real, right? Like, placebo effect is real, like all these things. So I got here early. I went for a walk down to that street, and then it's like just this beautiful view of the ocean. And it happens every time. It's like, I know what it makes me sound like. It's like, oh, this guy's like very unstable and unhinged. And I'd be the first to admit it. It's like, I cry all the time now. Like, I don't know what it was, just like, maybe just seeing all the burned houses on the way here, just knowing that I haven't talked in a long time. And there's no upside for me. And I told you that. I was like, I go on these podcasts, and I think Howard Stern, like 15, 20 years ago, and Joe Rogan, the multiple times I've been on a show, I think are the only two radio shows, podcasts that have ever just aired it without editing. Everyone else, every time you've ever heard me on any other podcast, it's either severely edited or they cut out huge chunks of it or they didn't even air it at all. So I know that, and I know the world we live in today. And so there's something that went, in the narcissistic traits where like, I'm the fucking greatest artist in the world, to like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit. Like it just, it's just like this thing. And before, when I was younger, it was like everyone has to see everything. Everyone has, like, I think I'm so important that everyone has to see everything that I create, painting, podcast, book, like whatever it is. And then it went, like, my problem with my shit is it's all or nothing. So it's hard for me to find the middle. And so at this point now, I'm like 49. I live a very quiet dad life. I'm a family guy. And there's just thousands of paintings no one's ever seen. There's hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of podcasts I've never put out. There's books I've written. There's TV shows, movies that I've made that it's just, before the ego and the narcissist is like, you need to put this out because you're important and everyone needs to see how important you are. And now the flip side to that is, and maybe it's not healthy either, is like, I know who I am. I'm comfortable with myself, and I don't need, I'm artificially blocked from everything. Like I don't have my own password to my social media. I have blocks on my phone, so I can't access the internet. So it's like, I do put all these things into place to like protect myself because I'm a sensitive person. So, as an artist, there's certain isms and stories. It's like, oh, starving artist, you're not going to make any money. Like struggling artist. There's these stories that people say, and then you buy into them. But I had a few teachers along the way that influenced me, that like, there's like just certain moments happen in your life that live in your head rent free. And I have a lot of those. And so one of the stories is, I'm 49. It's like, you have to live in New York City. If you make it in New York, you make it anywhere. What the fuck am I doing in the 408? Like, what am I doing in Cupertino? Like in my head, the story's written that you're a fucking, and I hadn't done shit, right? But in my head, I'm like, you're a greatest artist ever in Gilroy. Like what, what I mean?
Sorry, no disrespect to Gilroy.
It's like the garlic capital, garlic fest,
sorry,
garlic ice cream, So there's a story in my head that it's like, I gotta get to New York City, right? Like I couldn't get any like leeway in Los Angeles. I'm born and raised in LA, and I couldn't, and so I and now I look back, if I do a inventory of the most creative explosions and the most periods of creativity in my life, it's always found in the mundane. It's always found in cold temperatures. It's always found when there's no Wi-Fi. It's always found in a suburb of. It's like this story, like, I'm gonna get to fucking New York and I'm gonna be part of this movement. It's never that. Like, it's nice to romanticize that, but it's these moments of brilliance. Like whoever's listening right now, they're like, I got this, and then and then I'm gonna get to this, and then I'm gonna meet this person, and I'm gonna do, and it's like, bro, I was fucking living in San Jose for 7 years. I met this wonderful lady. She was my girlfriend for 7 years. But like at that prime, I was 23, and I was like, and for me, the stakes are so high because so one of the teachers was my mother, right? My mother is hardcore born again Christian. So science does not enter the picture, right? It's like blinders on. And through her, I learned blind faith, right? Jesus Christ, that's it. There's no. So wait, you're telling me there was an actual ark with two animals, and all the two animals didn't kill the other in the, and there was an Adam and there was a snake that talked. It's like, yeah, like no hesitation. So she gave me that gift of like, hey, science, like facts, no, blind, like just, holy shit. Like there's nothing could falter her. And you're like, you're fucking stupid. You're ignorant. Like, but she's not. She's a bright woman. And now I look back and like, I just met you. You're a brilliant guy. And I sit here and I go, I know some of the smartest people on the planet. You know some of the smartest people on the planet. And they're all dumb. They're all like idiots. You're like, wait, you're a genius. You have photographic memory. You created this company, and you made some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen. It's like, yeah, you're really good at this, but you don't know relationships, or you don't know So my mom taught me through just not anything but just watching her of just this absolute belief. And one of her beliefs was, you're my son, this is some Jesus shit, like me, who was like, how I explained, this is fucking neurotic mess, like growing up in an unstable family and all that, got fucking molested, every abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, like just chaotic because they were working, and then I was just like left out in the wild, abandoned, spiritual abuse, all this shit. And she's just like, in the same way she believed in God and Jesus, she's like, you're the one. You're the greatest artist. And I'm like 5 years old. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, no one's better than you. No one's better than you. You're the best. You're going to be the great, your name's David, like a lot of Koreans named after Bible. She's like, I named you after King David. You're going to be a king. And I go, but now in hindsight, I'm like, and yes, King David beat Goliath, but he also was a sex addict and had a lot of mental illness and like failed a lot, She didn't tell me all that shit, So she's raising me, she's brainwashing me. It's like, you're the best, you're the greatest. And then I've met other artists where it's like everyone has their own paths. Some become great because the parents are like, you're nothing, you're a piece of shit, you're the worst. Who the fuck do you think you are? I had the opposite. I had a mom it didn't matter. It didn't matter, like, but mom, look at how horrible. She's like, you're the greatest. And so it's like at some point, I hate myself. I have like such a low self-opinion of myself. I'm just down on myself, just this kid, just constantly getting bullied and like the world just using me and I'm like, of course she says that. She's my mom, like, but she just brainwashed me into believing that I'm the best. And I would, as a trickster and a shapeshifter, I would, what most artists lack is like an ability to communicate with words. That's why they're such brilliant artists. And that's why they can make great music and all this, because I can't, like I'm going to probably talk to you for a few hours today and I'm going to leave here feeling misunderstood. I'm going to be like, fuck, because I'm not, in the same way I can like translate what I feel in a painting. It's very like, it's like when people describe like ayahuasca or something, they're like, try to describe it and they're like, the words that you're trying to look for don't exist for what you just went through. So that's kind of why I get really self-judgmental. But I'm like, this woman, and then, my dad, he loves me, but he's like, he's all right. He's okay, And I'd watch my mom, who was just like a brutal businesswoman, and she would transform. I spent most of my life either poor or middle class, like being wealthy came later. But so, we were on welfare a lot, or businesses burned down in the LA riots. Like I saw my parents struggle a lot, but then they would do good. And they had the gambler's mentality, which a lot of Asians do. And I have that too.
Which is?
Just, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Asians have the gambling gene more than other races, especially the women. Like most women don't have the gambling gene the same way men do. So my mom would gamble like flipping houses, or like not in a casino, but like just huge swings, which you're like, I grew up with a fearless woman, but so we wouldn't have stuff. But then I would watch my mom open the trunk of her car and put on like fake jewelry, cubic zirconium, because she's about to go into a meeting and ask for a lot of money, and just insane lying, but hardcore Christian. So like the hypocrisy there. Like I'm trying to work on my own breaking out. So it's like, I'm going to be hypocritical in this interview. And at the end, hopefully I'll be able to correct any exaggerations or lies. But that's a new tool that I have. I used to just, whatever for the story, I lie to tell the truth, all those things. So I'd watch my mom transform from like a poor woman. The mentality was, she's like, my son is the greatest artist in the world. And like, I'm coming out of my Toyota hatchback with the broken window, but when I go into this meeting right now, you're not going to see that. So she transformed herself into this rich, powerful woman, and just like I'm just sitting there, a kid in the corner, watching this woman get what she wants. I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck was that performance? And then just coming out and I'm like, but mom, that's not like those things you said, that wasn't real. That's not true. And she's like, yeah, they don't need to know that. And I'm like, but we just went to church and we learned the 10 Commandments and you're not supposed to lie. And it's like all this like confusion. And then I meet Sean Parker, who, just the sweetest kid, he started emailing me right when he started Napster. He goes, I have all the emails. I keep certain emails and voice messages, and I just that's my own nostalgia. But like I have a voicemail and a handwritten letter from Howard Stern saying thank you for getting me into watercolors. And I was like, dude, my fucking hero. Like, yes, like it's such a good feeling. I have a voice message from Pee Wee Herman, which I'll share later, and all my early emails with Sean Parker I kept just because he's such an interesting, like, wonderful. I know like the image of him, but like we don't talk like we used to, but I still consider him a friend, and I'm forever grateful to him. But so I met him at a time when like, I mean, I don't even know how to like just complete disgrace and shame to my family. It's like the immigrant story. Talk to any immigrant. Why the fuck did you leave your home to come to another country? Because it was shitty there. That's it. You're not born in a country and you're like, dude, let's leave, right? The only reason why anyone's here is because it was shitty where you were at, right? So then it doesn't matter if you're Asian or Mexican, whatever. You came here for a better life. And what does that mean? Work your ass off. So we're in a nation of workaholics, right? This is an entire country of workaholics. So my parents, I didn't go through it, but they're like, Japanese tanks rolled down the street. And, they have the typical like fucking war, famine, all that stuff. So they get over here and like born and raised in Los Angeles, it's like, don't know who I am, don't know where I belong, just bullied, abandoned, abused over and over, and just, I didn't even really know the concept of suicide, but I hated myself. Like I couldn't live in like, it felt like I was burning inside my own body. And so even made fun of like I listened to, we have the same taste in music. I listen to Minutemen, Minor Threat, I'm blasting Downset, Inside Out, Soundgarden, Slaves and Bulldozers. I used to put on Soundgarden, Slaves and Bulldozers, punch myself as like I'm in my room, a teenager, just punching myself as hard as I can, just to like go into like a berserker rage. And I just back then like I found pornography and it was just so soothing. Like it was like getting high. Like I would just masturbate like over and over again. So I'm like but I would do like weird self-harm. I guess the kids call it edging, but I'd masturbate, but then not come, and then beat myself up. And I'm going through puberty, and I would go out and I'd shoplift spray cans, like just at, hardware stores. And I'm listening to, I would get like a Faith No More, like In Living Colors, just like some song. And I would just like an OCD, just repeat like some lyric in it. I am a patient boy. And I would just like go into like a trance, and I would just go out and I would just fucking spray paint. And I'm living at home, so I'm not hiding this shit. I come home, my hands covered in black paint. This is what we fucking came to this country for? This is why we fucking left another country so you could come here and not be an artist, but do you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to our race. And my dad would just like fucking throw me against the wall. And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I don't care what you're like. Do you understand? Like, I wasn't like actively trying to kill myself, but I didn't like, do you understand that everything you care about, I don't care? Do you get that? And like, you start the show, and I was laughing because it's like, hey, I'm Andrew Huberman, scientist, Stanford, this, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I like Andy. Like, I like that, And then I was like, you know what? This is like stolen valor. Sean Parker starting Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg. I'm there at the beginning, and So he brings me in, and at the time when this is years, the emails back and forth. He's like, because the energy I was putting out at the time was what I'm telling you right now. Just, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you care about. Like, it's just complete. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm just painting on everything. And it's like graffiti. Graffiti is vandal. It's not an art. It's not graffiti artist or street art. It's fucking vandalism. It's a crime. And people are telling me, anyone out there doing street art, like, there's so many rules. There's so many, like, what did you write? Did you used to tag or anything?
No, but I had a good
Shut
friend
up.
from
If you skated, you definitely had like a
there were some kids in our crew that
cubes.
No.
What did you tag? Come on.
No, because I had friends who were like graphers, and they like boxed us out. You know, the Under Shadows kids.
You never did graffiti?
No, but we can talk about this later. I want to hear from you now. But later we should talk about Orphan and the Under Shadows crew, which is a kind of a thing in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine. But anyway, I didn't graffiti.
Okay, so
I drew on my grip tape.
All right, that's good.
But no, I wasn't a tagger, wasn't a graffiti guy.
Yeah, so I'm out doing like that, and like, we could have like a conversation about creativity and this and that, and it's like I can't. It's very hard to talk about it's because it's like, can you teach a craft? Can you teach a skill? Can I teach you to paint the Mona Lisa? Yeah, I know how to do all that. I know how to, like, I went to school. Like, I taught myself. I watched videos. Like, you could teach yourself how to paint something to make it look like something. That's a teachable skill. But creativity, where does that come from? Are you just born with it? Is it from deprivation? It's like a, I can only share what my path is, and it's like, the embarrassment, like, you're Asian, you need to get a 4.0, you need to get into UCLA, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. And it's like I'm the middle child, me and my two brothers, like, long hair, listening to heavy metal and punk. Why are you doing that white shit? Like, and then you got Asian kids that are into heavy, it's like there's no identity, right? And then it's just like lost. Just like, what the fuck is, like, we don't belong anywhere. Just like the Asian depictions in media is like long duck dong. Asians have small dicks. They can't drive. They're good at math. It's just, nothing's good, right? And I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out my way in this world. And I remember Sean just was attracted to, like, whatever little art. I'd start getting some noticed and juxtaposed, and I was starting to do graffiti everywhere, and he's like, I want that, whatever that is, I want that, like, I want to be part of that. And I said, and I forgot what my painting, it was like right when I couldn't sell a painting, and then all of a sudden they were selling for a couple thousand, and he's like, and he was a teenager still, and he goes, I want your art, but the problem is I'm being sued right now for $1 trillion because every single song is a lawsuit. I mean, whatever. It ended up the way it ended up. But I remember he goes, he showed me a screenshot or whatever. He's like, I'm being sued for $1 trillion right now, so I can't really afford your art, but, like, I'm gonna get it. So we started this relationship, and he would send me these crazy, like, abstract texts of emails of what he wanted me to paint, and then he started another company called Plaxo, and he's like, and then finally, you're catching me in the South Bay. I'd met this girl, we fell in love, and I moved to San Jose, just the most culturally dead place, and everyone's like rollerblading, working at Apple or MySpace or eBay or some tech startup, and they're like, we're cool because we have a trampoline and we have a kitchen area where you can have all the Red Bull and snacks you want, and we have bunk beds. And like, that's also, you could just keep working, And so I meet Sean, and he's like, dude, we're starting this company called Facebook, and, like, we finally have some money, and, like, dude, and he's like, where are you at? And he didn't know all this, but I had just gotten out of prison. I was in jail in Japan because I had beaten up an undercover security guard. I was 27 when I got out, and I owed everyone money. I owed my girlfriend money. And so I needed money bad. And I was in, like, a lot of trouble. I didn't know how I was going to pay everyone back because It's really hard to sell a painting, you know? But my paintings did sell once in a while, and they were starting to get pretty expensive. And then all the art that I did in jail, I used to work for Vice magazine. I say work but I never got paid. But you know, I
They didn't pay you?
no, I think people, if anyone's listening, is a little side tangent is, and it's gonna definitely sound like OCD, like I'm keeping a list, and maybe I am because I don't think about it. But I was sitting the other day and I go, they all owe me money. Everyone I've ever worked for. Like people like, I gotta get paid. Like someone develops a skill, like I'm good at songwriting or this or that, and then they go, well, I gotta get, like the young people's men, like, well, that's my craft. I gotta get paid. I go, I never got paid. I worked for Nike, Levi's, Ruka, Giant Robot, Vice, fucking even my friends Steve Aoki, and like just like 88 Rising. If I sit here, I'll name everyone, but like either they didn't pay me what they said, or I had to threaten to kill them for them to send me, or they just never paid me, you know. And I met Gavin McInnes when he started Vice, and he had seen some of the art that I did in Giant Robot. He saw that I went to the Congo. He saw and he's like, hey, and it was all punk rock Vice when it was like the big format, and he's like, dude, and he just believed in me. I don't know what he saw. He's like, dude, send me a drawing of cops beating up this, and I did it fast. He's like, I need it by tomorrow, and I was like, I can do it. And then he just was like, hey, write me a story about some shooting in LA Koreatown gangster shit. And I go, but I'm not. He's like, just do it. And at one point, that was another figure that was resonated in my mom of like, the rules, reality doesn't apply. I'm sitting there going, wait, but I'm not a journalist. I didn't fact check anything. And there was some issues of Vice where I wrote 5 different articles under a woman's name, a black guy's name, you know, like just made up names, articles just to fill up pages. And I would have done the comic section, illustrations, music review, street, you know, fashion, you know, the do's and don'ts. And I'm just like, you can do that? And like, I had already been groomed for that because of my mom. It's like, no, reality doesn't apply. My mom thinks I'm the best artist, and now here's, you know. So Sean's like, okay. And so I'm in what I feel is like purgatory, the 408 San Jose Milpitas. You know, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, and I'm telling myself, I gotta get there. When I get to New York, it's like this Golden Gate, like end of the Golden Road, like Wizard of Oz. Like when I get there, then I'm gonna get discovered, and then someone's gonna be like, because what is it? You know, like what? Like people are like, what is? And I go, I can be a hater. I can be a loving, sweet, selfless person. I could be like a very hard, judgmental hater to myself, and so I take this so seriously. Like what we're doing here today is talking. I mean, it's mostly me talking. I could see that, but it's like we're having a conversation. But I think without sounding, it's like I think it's important. That's why I'm here. Like I said, like I'm like, why? I feel like I trust you even though I just met you, but like, yeah, I fucking puked down the street because I go, what's the upside? Like I'm gonna talk and then maybe I say something that I didn't mean, or I say it the wrong way, or it gets clipped weird or edited, and I go, I think it's important. I want to come. I want to talk to you, and that's how I feel about my art. So what is that? What is art? What is creativity? And for me, it's like, I think sports are very gay, especially skateboarding. Like if I never played sports, I would have never seen another man's penis, you know, like. And then in my time in sports, it was very rough because I told myself, any athlete that I paint with, they always start saying the same thing. I suck at drawing. And I go, why did you do that? Why did you immediately shoot yourself in? Like, who said that? Did someone else say that, or did you say that? They start with saying something negative, and I go, and then I go, that's exactly what I say if they try to teach me how to throw a free throw. I go, oh, this is gonna suck. And they go, why did you do that? And so for me, growing up, I grew up in a lot of Black neighborhoods where the second, you know, I don't know how to play basketball, but the second I try and I fuck up, it's like, look at the Chinese kid fucking try. And so I go, all right, you know what? I'm not even going to try it, you know? And it's like, well, you should have just come at like 5 a.m. when no one was there, you know? But like, I was so sensitive. I was like, I don't want to. So I did things in the, you know, it's, art is a solitary sport for the most part. You know, I'm not, there's no Rob there. It's just me. Like even in the thing, it's like this. Like, don't look at my sketchbook. But in here, I can fuck up and fix, erase, whatever. But so, like in sports, you know, it's like you're slapping guys' asses, you're taking showers with them, you're doing all this like male bonding stuff. You're just spending a lot of time with other men, right? Like, and I'm like, oh God, like, what is the feeling? I'm trying to isolate the feeling. What? And I remember, because I don't, like, I tell this stuff not to be like, feel sorry for me or I'm a victim. I don't feel like that. I mean, I'm just telling you,
like a victim.
I'm telling you what happened. And part of it is you do like, what would you rather someone beat you up for 5 minutes or have the whole world read your diary? You know, like these kind of, and luckily I had both happen. You know, I've been beaten to an inch of my life. I've had broken bones. I've been stabbed. I've been burned. I've been like everything physically you can think of, and I'm still here, right? So there's not much. Like because I have my mom's delusion. Like when I talk to Joe, and he's shorter than me, but I know he could probably, like, logically, I know he could probably kick my ass. I have no fighting background, but in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could kick his ass, and he would fucking that's just the way I walk through life, like I still believe in Santa Claus. People go, I can't believe I just said that. I don't. I think that's the first time publicly I've ever said that.
We're coming up on
no, I know.
You know, Christmas. By now, I'm sure that many of you have heard me say that I've been taking AG1 for more than a decade. And indeed, that's true. The reason I started taking AG1 way back in 2012, and the reason why I still continue to take it every single day, is because AG1 is, to my knowledge, the highest quality and most comprehensive of the foundational nutritional supplements on the market. What that means is that it contains not just vitamins and minerals, but also probiotics, prebiotics, and adaptogens to cover any gaps that you might have in your diet, while also providing support for a demanding life. Given the probiotics and prebiotics in AG1, it also helps support a healthy gut microbiome. The gut microbiome consists of trillions of little microorganisms that line your digestive tract and impact things such as your immune status, your metabolic health, your hormone health, and much more. Taking AG1 consistently helps my digestion, keeps my immune system strong, and it ensures that my mood and mental focus are always at their best. AG1 is now available in 3 new flavors: berry, citrus, and tropical. And while I've always loved the AG1 original flavor, especially with a bit of lemon juice added, I'm really enjoying the new berry flavor in particular. It tastes great, but then again, I do love all the flavors. If you'd like to try AG1 and try these new flavors, you can go to drinkag1.com/Huberman to claim a special offer. Just go to drinkag1.com/Huberman to get started.
I just remember I don't know, it's changed now, but I remember when I was a kid, it was around 6 or 7 when they start going, there's no fucking Santa. But I was 8 and I was like, and they're like, how dumb are you? And I understand this reflects back to my mom and Jesus. I go, and they go, but you've literally never got any presents from Santa. How? And I'd go to shame. I go, because I'm a bad kid. I cussed. I was like, I stole stuff from the supermarket, you know, like, and they're like, hey, fuckface, Santa's not real. And I just was like, but he is. I believe that he is. And I believe, I go, there's him not giving me a present is like, because I put him in this God category. Maybe he's not God, but maybe he's a God, like a demigod or something. And they go, how does he know if you're naughty or nice? I go, telepath. How does he get every fucking present to every kid in that time? I'm like, oh, he's immune. He can multiply. He can make copies of himself. How does he get through that tiny chimney? I go, teleport. Like, it's not even a question. I just know, I believe it. And I don't care how stupid you think. Like, I guess this is me coming out with my Santa Claus, but it's just like, I just believe that. And you can't say anything to make me not believe that. That's my blind faith that I got from my mom. So like every Christmas, I'm almost 50. I'm a fucking middle-aged man and I go, maybe this is the year I'm going to But now I look back and I go, the gift he gave me of giving me nothing gave me everything, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm drawing, but I have that story in my head too, like, I suck. Oh, fuck, that doesn't look like Batman. Oh, his arm looks weird, you know? And then at some point, to this day, all the physical and emotional pain, just the physical pain, like, it passes. I've broken bones. I've had my face just pummeled, like, just where you wouldn't reckon, disfigured. But it passes. And if I think back, I don't remember it. But the pain that stays is like heartbreak, you know, betrayal, abandonment. And I just remember my dad would make us keep a journal because he just wanted us to start learning how to write. And it started with, if I take you guys to the movies, you have to write a movie review. And it was like, we were 8 years old, 7 years old, just, you know, today we saw Karate Kid. Johnny got chased by skeletons. The end. You know, it was like that, like a little kid, you know, but he's like, you have to do it. Goonies was cool, you know, so we kept the thing. But then he never asked to read it. He just wanted us to do it. And I was like, oh. So I started like getting more brave. I was like, I really like this girl at school. And I would just start getting really vulnerable and open and just knowing, because my brothers don't give a shit. Like, but then the thought of like, what if someone ever read this? So I was like opening myself up and just letting, and I was like, oh my God, like it felt so good. Like I can't tell anyone like I'm having these kind of feelings, or like, you know, like I fucking hate dad, you know, like, so, you know, whatever. And I would take the bottom drawer out of my desk out and I would hide it under there. And I shared a room with my brother, so I always did it when he, you know, I thought I was being secretive. And I was somewhere between 7, 8, 9. It just, you know, as you get better at writing, and I got more, once I got more comfortable knowing that no one, I just started writing everything. Like, my brother fucking fart smell. Like, I wish, you know, just like everything I would write, just completely. And I came one day and I saw both my brothers on the bed reading it. And I remember my face just, like, it felt so hot. Like I felt like someone had just, like, ultimate betrayal. And it was like being naked. That's why I bring up I felt more naked than being in a room full of naked guys showering, like slapping. Like, it was the most vulnerable. Like, they were being so merciless. You like her and you did that. I can't believe you know, because I wrote everything in that journal. And I thought I was going to die from shame and embarrassment. And they, you know, like the way kids are, brothers can be, it was merciless. And they made fun of me for years for that. And in the same way my face was disfigured and I have had physical abuse and all that, I lived through it. And I was like, I'm still here. And so why the fuck am I going to be a pussy when I draw? When I draw, no more like, I'm going to draw Batman like this artist or that artist. Oh, I'm going to draw like, you know, like, okay, that's fine. You're like trying to figure out how to work with tools and that's fine. Skill, craft, great. But like this, like showing you, like, so I had been trained now for heartbreak, right? Like, a lot of artists spend their whole life being not validated, bullied, rejected, and then finally they figure out how to draw something where people are like, yes, we like that. And so they never grow. They do that same verse, that same flow forever. And then you got people like Andre 3000, they're like, I don't care, I don't care what, you know, I'm gonna do flute shit. It's like, well, we don't like that. And it's like, I don't care. I'm an artist. You got someone like Flea who's like, I'm gonna just do performance art. And I'm like, I don't even like half that shit, but I just love them because and I go, how fucking brave is that? How brave is that? But I remember just to this day, right? I am a very successful, established artist. And yet today, there's people that are like, that's the fucking worst art I've ever seen. And I go, cool. Like, but if you don't have that background of just having your heart ripped out, it is the most painful thing to put yourself out on like to pour That's you. That's your soul. And someone's like, and then especially if you're trying to sell it, they're like, no thanks, you know? So to have a guy like Sean Parker, who's younger than me, but just not even the art. He's just like, I like you, like whatever that is. And then I want to change the world with this kid that I met, Mark Zuckerberg. And so I meet him with his flip-flops and, you know, I meet the whole crew. And I go, what do you want me to do? He's like, I want you to fucking paint everything. I want people to be scared. I want investors to be scared. I want everyone to just be like, we're not MySpace. We're not eBay. I want them to be horrified when they come in here. I want you to just fucking paint the microwave, like everything. And I go, indoors, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, all right, so just like cover up your computers. And then they're like, no, we're gonna be working here. And I'm like, you know how toxic these chemicals, like I work in spray paint, like I have brain damage because of this shit. Like I have like memory issues. They're like, we don't care. They're like young. They're like, fuck the world, hack the world, like all that shit.
Hack the world.
They love saying, So I was there and they would be like, let's fucking blast Daft Punk. Like I don't, this is a world I'm not, I like going into different worlds. And they're like, we're gonna blast Daft Punk because I guess it's like something with the repetitiveness and the coding. And we're gonna do these hackathons where we just fucking hack into shit and fucking, it was punk rock. It was like a very nerdy punk rock, but they're like, we don't give a fuck. Like, and I like that spirit, but they were such nerds and they were so earnest. There was you've never heard people talk like that where they're talking, they're like, and we're gonna change the world. And I'm like, I'm into that, whatever that is. And they thought they were so cool when they thought they were giving me a Stanford email. I go, because I'm not on social media. Like I'm a Luddite. I'm the last to whatever new technology. I'm like, all right, like I've never touched AI, any of that. And so I was like, you guys are trying to be like MySpace, but MySpace it's already here. Like for the young people listening, like there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. It was MySpace. It was just dominated. And they're like, yeah, but we're fucking MySpace for Ivy League. Harvard.
Oh, that's right. In 2007, that's right, because I was a postdoc. In order to get Facebook, you had to have an Ivy League or a Stanford email.
Yeah,
technically Stanford's not in the Ivy League.
So you're not the only one, motherfucker. Stolen valor. So
I love it.
So I forgot what it was. It was like Choe at Stanford EDU, but like I remember he gave
Probably
it.
Still exists.
I don't know. I remember him giving it to me like it's something I wanted. I was just painting. He's like, Dave, you don't have to go. I'll get you a Stanford email, and then you could be part of Facebook. I'm like, I don't want to be. I don't care. I don't care what you like. You want to be. You and Mark and all these guys want to be in this like, and they're like, he was like confused because he's like, you don't want the whatever like respect and whatever comes with having a Stanford. And I go, no, I hate education. I hate learning. I hate teachers. I hate, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, I go, why don't you just make it for everybody? And he's like, oh, like, the thing is like, it was so funny when the David Fincher movie came out because it's just an awesome movie, but it's just, I was there for all of it and just did not, like some of the facts are right, but it just didn't go down that way, But so Mark is like a genius and Sean, I mean, similar to my mother. It's like, I think Naomi's still there. It was like Naomi, Mark, Sean, Dustin, and me just like gassing them out. They're just trying to code like, and I'm like listening to all their conversations and I'm like telling them how nerdy they are. I'm like, bro, make it for everybody. Don't, and they're like, and I would listen in on all their conversations. They're like, oh, it's so fucking cool. Dave Choe's painting our office. And I was like, oh, they like me, like I'm being validated, not just by my mother, And so, I do everything backwards and we start to discuss payment, And at that time, I had once in my life sold a painting for like 10 grand. And it was like a fluke. And that's another story that I could tell about rejection and all that. But so I just did some dumb, ignorant math. I was like, well, that painting was this big. And I was like, 60 grand, And I needed that. I needed that to pay off everyone. And then at the time, up until going to jail, like I had been a thief, I was doing a lot of stealing to support my, like, I was like, graffiti doesn't pay the bills, you know?
Stealing your paint.
Stealing everything.
Was Facebook office painted with stolen cans?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. My graph friends, graffiti for those that don't know.
Yeah.
The graffiti, they were like world-class crooks.
Yeah.
Because they were always stealing pens and paint, and
Exactly. I mean, it's like like it doesn't pay the bills, you know.
Yeah.
So what had transferred, you know, the nature of addiction is if you don't get to the root of it, it just keeps jumping, right? Like whack-a-mole. So it whack-a-mole into my background, which is watching my parents take huge. So I got into gambling. So I was just there was every paycheck, anything. It was always, I got to figure out a way, because gambling feels like stealing, and it's, you know. And I sat there and people were just like, "You work at Facebook? Like that's," you know, my friends that aren't in that academia, they're just like, "That's like the shitty MySpace, you know, like look at the font, look at the, you know, all the artsy like look at the designs, the fucking, you know, what is that? The name, Facebook, come on, like that's the most creative, you know." And I said, I think I'm gonna ask them if I could get shares in the company, you know.
Did you understand equity in that whole thing?
I don't understand anything. And it's like, I have shares in other companies that are all worthless, right? Like it was growing up with my mom, watching her, that if I didn't have that, like and I don't even understand that shit. I remember being with, having lunch with Zuck's parents, and like, you know, he comes from a nice family. And I think Yahoo or Microsoft, someone had offered him right in the beginning $1 billion for it. And he's like, "No, thanks." And he's still sleeping on the fucking mattress on the ground, eating Doritos. And I'm like, you know, I'm trying to like pay my fucking, all my friends back. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about money. Like he cares about like what he cares about. It's like such a singular focus. He's like, I want to fucking I want to bring the whole world together. It was, you know, youthful idealism. And I remember going to work one day. I just loved working there because I don't get jobs like that where they're like paint everything. Like you're here like doing this and I'm painting around, like I'm painting on everything. And the best part is that they didn't even like what I was painting. Like Mark would come and he's like, what is that, dude? And like Sean's like, "Dave, you know that other thing you did I saw at the art show? Can you?" And I was like, "You didn't ask for that. You said fucking destroy, like you said scare people when they walk, you know."
As I recall, there was like a big primate, like monkey with jagged teeth and some crazy.
I was, you know, and I was gassing myself out, you know, like I'm like doing all that shit without a mask on. It's all going right into my brain. I'm like, whatever toxic spray paint fumes does to your brain, and there's no fresh air coming in. And I remember Sean Parker, just bronze skin, like $200 haircut, custom suit. And I go, "Who are you, man?" And he was doing what my mom was doing. He was just fucking doing push-ups and I was like, this skinny little nerd, like he was like handsome. And I go, "Oh, this is what my mom used to do before she went into a bit. She used to fucking," and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking raise some money." Like he was, and I go, "Holy fuck, this guy's so sick," you know? And he transformed his physical appearance because he was about to go into like serious fundraising. And that's when I met the PayPal guy and Peter Thiel, and like I was like, this guy's fucking, you know, like people give all the credit to Mark, but I'm like, Sean, the guy he was an artist in, you know, and also like out of control, which like that attracted each other. And then he was there when he got fired and all that stuff. But I remember like the impact that had on me, like just, wow, like you've heard the fake it till you make it, right? It's like, I know I'm not the best artist in the world, but my mom thinks so. But Sean Parker, like other people think so. And I'm like, but that's whatever. They're just kissing my ass or whatever. And then there can be a switch. And I think it's like sick and tired of being sick and tired, or enough is enough. Like I just can't take it anymore. It's like, well, I can't live like this anymore. I feel like I'm trapped. I feel like, and so then it's like, oh, you can't travel. You need money for that. Well, I'm going to hitchhike then. I'm going to hop on a freight train. I saw the entire world with nothing, no money. Like, well, it must be nice to be rich. I go, I'm rich now. I've had nothing my whole life, and I just had to fucking fight for it. And like, would I recommend it? Like, a lot of it was illegal. I spent a lot of time in jail, but also jail didn't hurt me. I lived, and I spent some time there. I got to learn who I am. And so it's just to piece out the skills you learn for what's creativity, what's business, what aided me and helped me at this time in my life that which no longer aids me now, and how to like, because the other thing I learned from my mom is just adapts. Oh, our business just burned down in the LA riots. And instead of like sitting there, it's like, okay, now we're doing this. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing this. And I'm like, I remember getting a job in Beverly Hills right after high school. I was 18, 1994. And it was at this weird comic book, like a high-end comic book store called Comics Top Hits. I'm not a comic book guy. I love comics. And I remember I begged the guy for a job. I'm like, please, please. And he's like, all right, fine. The customer seemed, because I would just hang out there and talk to the customers anyways. And I remember one day Stan Lee showed up, and I'm like, fuck, Stan Lee, like my hero, you know? And he sat there, and people were bringing him Darkwing Duck, Batman, Archie, like all the things he didn't work on. Hey, Marvel fans. And he just signed everything. And I'm like, I was like the guy managing the line that day, and I'm looking at his hair plugs, and I go, you fucking, like, you didn't fucking invent Batman. You know? And at the end of the day, I built up enough confidence to, you know, as everyone left and we're packing up, I'm like, Stan, dude, you didn't invent Batman. Why the fuck you signed that guy's book? And he's like, did you see their faces? Did you see, like, they were so happy. Like, why would I get in the way of their happiness? And I'm like, holy shit, dude. It's like, yeah, don't correct people. And I thought about that, like everywhere I go in the world, and there's like, Ching Chong, China, this, I remember being in Africa, and these kids were just chasing us everywhere on Ching Chong, and our translator was a French Vietnamese guy. And he was like, Dave's Korean, I'm Vietnam. It's like, they don't give a shit, dude. They don't give a fuck. And I remember just the things I'm talking about is like watching Sean Parker shapeshift, watching my mom shapeshift, watching act as if you belong. Act as if you have a seat at the table. It's like, oh, don't fucking, it's like, I know that's part of being an artist, is being like shy, nerdy, self-conscious. It's like, just pretend like you're the best artist in the world. Like, you just show up and you're like, this is the journey from their head to heart. I like when you talk because you make sense. But there's that, and that's why the smartest people in the world are the dumbest fucking idiots I've met, because they try to apply logic to everything. And you're applying a logic to spiritual problems. You're applying logic to emotional problems. And it's like, how's that working out for you? It's not. You're never going to outthink a feeling. You're never going to outsmart a feeling. Like, and you're like, wait, these people are acting like, why? Who would do that? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because it's not logical. It's an emotional thing. It's a mentally ill, whatever it is. It's not logic based. It's emotion based. It's mentally ill based. It's spiritual based. Like, you can't fuck with people's religion or what they have faith in, and all this stuff. So I'm watching. I remember going, Stefan correcting the black kids that he's Vietnamese is making them feel stupid, and they're getting angrier. The kids that think I'm Bruce Lee and I just confirmed that I'm Bruce Lee are getting happy, right? It's like, people are dumb out there. That's fine. I don't care. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. It's like when someone corrects me, or it makes me feel shame and dumber. But then if no one corrects me, it's like, then it's my own shit to figure that out, or not, right? So watching these people, like very successful people in my life, my mom, she's like unstoppable, right? Anything the world throws at her, she just goes, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Like, she doesn't hang on. She's like, hang on tightly, let go lightly, right? It's just like, okay, we were real estate people, now we're doing Herbalife. Oh, that happened, Mark Hughes died, okay, now we're doing this. Like, she just goes like that, like adapts to any situation. And like right now, I get a call a week from all artists, creative types that and we don't have to have an AI talk. I would rather not have an AI talk, but it's Armageddon, right? Everyone's like, I spent my life doing sound engineering and now it's gone. Just like the guy who would do the like hand letter this and then Photoshop, boom, your job's gone. The Carl Zeiss lens go on the iPhone and now photographer. Like it's gone. Like you could sit there and start complaining or you could just keep adapting. And so I think true creativity you can't contain. If you're open and you're ready to get naked and you're ready to, people are like, oh, do you have to suffer to be a great artist? Absolutely, but you've already suffered enough. It's already done. Like whatever happened to you in your childhood, that's enough fuel for the rest of you. Don't have to continually, but I see myself and others at times, like I hopefully am better now, but I see people continually putting themselves in this situation to like suffer more and more and more. And I just remember the shame of my like it's just these things they're decades ago, but they're still like my dad just like throwing me across like we left another country so you could be a criminal event like just he was like I'll just kill us all now. We were in the car leaving the police station. He's like I'm gonna crash the car and I was in the back like kind of disassociating, numb, crying, like feeling mixed emotions. Going from like victim to sorry to like, well, fuck you then. And everything in between. And then just going, I accept now. Oops. I accept. Sorry, am I close enough to the microphone?
Good. You're good.
Am I close to the microphone? Just going, I'm gonna choose to believe what my mom believes in me. I'm the greatest artist on the planet. I was in my 20s, I was like, fuck it. Like going into galleries, looking at comic books, and can I tell you one quick fuck you Sean Parker story? So at the time I was doing Facebook, like things were happening. Like I had a Vice show selling my jail art, which gave me a little bit of cash. I was starting to work for Heidi Fleiss to do a erotic mural for her sex shop in Hollywood, and I had just gotten a job to do Jay-Z, Linkin Park's mashup album cover, and it's like I needed the money, and it was just like I was like, it's starting to happen, like things are, and this is while I was doing the Facebook thing, so they hadn't blown up yet, and they gave me the job, and I'm like, the biggest rock band in the world and the biggest rapper in the world are doing an album together, and they want me, little old me, to do I felt so honored. I mean, they fucking butchered the art. I gave them the art and they just made it look shitty. They put a shitty font on it. They they did fake graffiti spray. I was like, what the fuck did you, whatever. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But, I'm like, cool. Like, what's that going to pay? Like, and they're like $2,000. And I'm like, wait, it's like this, one day I'm going to make it and my name's going to be in lights. And I knew other artists, so like Mir did the Limp Bizkit cover, Shepard Fairey did, so I knew them well enough where I was like, hey guys, am I getting fucked right now? And they're like, no, that's typical. I go, that's what they pay artists for? I mean, because back in the day when I was doing art, paintings, whatever, galleries, or illustrations, that was the range, 200 to like 2,000 at the most if you're doing like a cover or something, but I'm like, an album cover and they're like, no, that's what they pay. And I was like, damn, dude, I thought this is big time, And so I negotiated for that. At the same time, I'm working at Facebook and I drew this crazy cover and they're like, yeah, that's for the rights for the album cover, right? So then, I don't know, the album comes out and then they use the art everywhere. They use it on billboards. My friends reading comic books and it's like, oh, they did a full page ad. And I go, like, for illustration, that's a separate fee, right? It's like, here's the rights to use on the album cover, here's for advertising, right? And so I'm talking to, I don't know anything, right? I'm a fucking horrible street artist. I call myself a street artist. Delete that from the microphone. Sorry. So I'm, and you could like bleep the names or whatever, because I clearly remember. So I call Warner Brothers and I go, hey, can I talk to whoever's in legal or whatever? And I go, yeah, I talked to my friends who are also artists that are more successful. And they said, there's a separate fee I should be getting for billboards, bus bench usage, magazine editorial, magazines used to be big, Tower Records, Virgin Records.
Sure.
And I remember the arrogance on this guy, Chip. He was like their head legal. He doesn't work there anymore. And he's like, and I remember the way he talked to me felt like my child, like just made me feel, he's like, you're some shitty graffiti, like, who the fuck are you? Like, why am I wasting my time talking to you? And I go, well, and he started like just hitting me with legalese. And I go, hey, I'm raising my hand right now. You can't say, I'm raising my hand saying, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you please talk to me and like, can you dumb down? Like you're trying to beat me up with words right now. I'm just saying, it should be an additional 10 grand, 15 grand for what you guys did. I'll be happy with another 5 or, just like trying to talk. And he's like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are. And it was like very condescending. And I remember the arrogance of, I was like, I could be recording this call or, but he was just, and I was like, for a guy named Chip, that's such a weird, you could come at us with lawyers. It's like, and you may be even right, but guess what? You're fucking with Warner. Like you'll never win. Like you will never get another dime out of us. I was like, holy fuck, what a fucking, and like I said, like, if you're going to be like, people are like, oh, I love painting, but then just paint. Like, oh, I want to be, it's like, how fucking hard it is to make money as a creator. It's like, you gotta get a thick skin and you better be ready to, like, I had to threaten Nike with blowing up their entire parking lot before they paid me. I was like, you asked me for these drawings, I did them, I delivered them on time, and you're giving me the checks in the mail. And I called like Wyden and Kent, whatever, in Oregon, and I was like, I live in LA. It's gonna take me this many hours to drive, and I don't know which car's yours, I'm gonna blow up every car. Check was in the mail the next day. I'm like, why did I have to do that? Why did I have to turn into my mom to get the, but most artists go, oh, and then they just get fucked over, right? So that's part of being an artist, is getting fucked over, not getting paid what you deserve, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like obviously sensitive and painting like in a bad mood. And Sean's like, what, dude, what's up, Dave? Why you? And I told him what I just told you. And he's like, and Facebook has like big money behind it now. It's growing. He's like, oh, we got a multi-million-dollar deal with Warner Brothers tomorrow in the meeting. And I was like, he goes, check this out. So he has the meeting with Warner Brothers, and they're like full, like, everyone's at the long table, and they're like, oh, we want to advertise with Facebook, and and this is the new world, and and they're like, okay, cool. And it's like, it's like millions of dollars or whatever, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he's like, yeah, but that guy Chip fucked with my friend Dave Choe, so we're not doing shit with you guys. And I was like, this guy's my dog forever. Like what, how, like just does not, no fucks given, right? I was like, I cried, I gave him a hug. I was like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Like, it felt so good. It felt so fucking good. I was like, and then I found out he got fired and all that shit. It's like, I was like, yes, sometimes the little guy wins, like, it felt so good.
I'd like to take a quick break and acknowledge one of our sponsors, Function. Last year, I became a Function member after searching for the most comprehensive approach to lab testing. Function provides over 100 advanced lab tests that give you a key snapshot of your entire bodily health. This snapshot offers you with insights on your heart health, hormone health, immune functioning, nutrient levels, and much more. They've also recently added tests for toxins such as BPA exposure from harmful plastics and tests for PFASs or forever chemicals. Function not only provides testing of over 100 biomarkers key to your physical and mental health, but it also analyzes these results and provides insights from top doctors who are expert in the relevant areas. For example, in one of my first tests with Function, I learned that I had elevated levels of mercury in my blood. Function not only helped me detect that, but offered insights into how best to reduce my mercury levels, which included limiting my tuna consumption. I'd been eating a lot of tuna, while also making an effort to eat more leafy greens and supplementing with NAC and acetylcysteine, both of which can support glutathione production and detoxification. And I should say, by taking a second Function test, that approach worked. Comprehensive blood testing is vitally important. There's so many things related to your mental and physical health that can only be detected in a blood test. The problem is blood testing has always been very expensive and complicated. In contrast, I've been super impressed by Function's simplicity and at the level of cost. It is very affordable. As a consequence, I decided to join their scientific advisory board, and I'm thrilled that they're sponsoring the podcast. If you'd like to try Function, you can go to functionhealth.com/Huberman. Function currently has a wait list of over 250,000 people, but they're offering early access to Huberman podcast listeners. Again, that's functionhealth.com/Huberman to get early access to Function.
So I got all the typical shame and all that. And to be fair, if you're my dad and you fucking escaped a war and famine to raise your family in America and you see your kid stealing paint at Home Depot to graffiti dicks on walls, like you're not gonna. So I give him that, you know. But I felt I didn't know where I belonged. You know, I'm like I couldn't process. Maybe I have dyslexia. I was in school and I couldn't. None of the information. I was like, this is so hard. Like people. Like I would try really hard to get a C, right? Where other people were like, oh, okay, you know, X. I was like, why is there an X in math? And they were like, Dave, and they dumb it down and dumb it down. I'm like, I'm retarded. I think I need to go to that class. Like I felt because both my brothers have like really high IQs, and I'm like, I'm stupid. Like so I felt really small in that area. And I made up the story like I suck at sports. I go, so this is it. This is all I'll ever be good at. So and now I'm gonna fully buy in to what my mom's saying. And because I grew up with the Asian work ethic, like I'm like, it's not I am good. It wasn't like I am gonna be the best. I was like, I just adopted I am the best artist in the world. And to that power of thought, like I sat down. And I'd go to museum. I studied everything. I studied comic book art, cereal boxes, museums, fine art. Why does this? I just got into the business side of art, the creativity, fucking loose watercolors, like tiny detailed pen draw, like everything. And I was like, I'm gonna be good at all of it. Oil painting, like there. So people go, what kind of artist? I'm like, I'm an artist. Everything. When I talk, when I make music, like I am going from I'm a piece of shit, I suck to like, you know, not healthy, but you know, it's like I am art god, you know, like, and so I was like in my 20s, just like like waking up, and then like that's not how I naturally woke up. I woke up like, oh fuck, you know, and I'd wake up and I'd have to put that on, like you're the greatest, you know, like hypnotizing myself. You're the best. You're the fucking best. You're the greatest. You know.
Were you doing any like reading books? Because at the time when you and I are basically the same age.
Yeah.
Back then, there wasn't a lot about like neuroscience and this and that and like actualization. It was all kind of, you know, hidden away. But there was like the Tony Robbins type stuff, and there was this idea and infomercials and stuff that that you could program your mind. Sounded like you just basically took all that on without any of that.
Yeah, I didn't read any of that stuff. I stole lots of books, and I would read a lot of pornography. I guess this kind of I could fit my Pee Wee Herman story if we're talking about publishing. It's hard to talk about this because kids ask me all the time, like, how'd you make it in art? And like nothing I did applies to today. You know, it's like I went to Kinko's. I would have to spend my money or figure out how to do that copy thing, that trick to make more copy. Because color copies are 99 cents. It's like who has? So I'd have to pick which one of my paintings were the best, make these like mini color copy packets. So that's $10. And then I would go to the newsstand and write the address, like Rolling Stone, like all the magazines that had prestige, and like C.F. Payne, Kent Williams, Baron Story, like all these amazing illustrators that would work for Time magazine, Rolling Stone, Playboy, like they would all use. So I would open the front page where it had the heading of art direct, and I would write it down, and the newsstand guy's like, I sound like a boomer right now. Like, you know, it's like, who the fuck, like there's kids listening right now. There's a magazine, what's that, you know? But that's what I had to do. And I would be like, which magazine do I want to send this $10 packet that and then I have to mail it to them. Hopefully like they get that letter and not some other department, you know? And then just rejection letter after, you know, like, sorry. And so I'm sitting down and I'm ingesting all this, and I have the fire, and I'm like sitting down, and I go, that like what? Why is that drawing successful? Why do, and of course there's tons of insider trading and corruption in the art world, but I didn't know that at the time, right? It's like, oh, that guy's dad owns fucking water. Like that guy, So I would just sit there and I would be like, that guy drew this much. I'm going to draw 10, like that guy did this and I'm going to draw, and I just, some of my paintings, all my paintings back then had like at least 7 layers, if not more, just layering and dense. And it was me. It's like a musician that's like, I have to, like I saw a thing with Rick Rubin and Flea doing Give It Away Now. And he was just like, he can do, but he was like, just do, like just play less. And back then it wasn't. It was like, I need to show everyone what I'm capable of, which is I can draw better than you. I can paint. I have to show you that. Now I don't care, but back then it was, and it isn't that. Art is it's not who can put the most lines down or, and so I'm trying to like, and it was just, everyone has their own path, but I remember year 2000, I'm doing graffiti. I'm getting some gigs to do murals, it's just slowly starting. And someone contacted me at Marvel Comics. And I was like, man, I didn't even try. And like, this is it. This is my dream. And then we want you to draw the X-Men, but like a cool X-Men. I'm like, fuck, I didn't even have to go to portfolio day. I didn't have to, and I go, oh, I knew if I just kept putting my shit out there, but I'm 23 at the time, and I start drawing it. And I guess they fired me, or they didn't fire me. They just decided to use a different artist, but they never told me. So I'm still drawing it. And I'm a passive aggressive, angry kid already. And I didn't email. Some people had emails, but a lot of artists hadn't. This is the beginning of the internet. Like people weren't using it the way they do now. And I remember it was like the first message board where my friends were like, hey, Dave, you got fired off the X-Men book? And I go, what? How did you know? And they go, you don't use the internet? And I go, what is that? And they showed us, and I felt shame again. I was like, oh my God, like I was so excited to, like there's little things in my head, like if I do a comic book, that means I made it. And I wrote the most scathing, homophobic, racist, like just, I was mad. I thought it was funny. I was 23 at the time. And it was like 10 pages long, but I didn't know the editor of Marvel. It's probably not even him. It was just, and I didn't know how to get it to him. So I just went to Marvel's website and I just sent it to every single person that works at Marvel, like copy, paste. And the next day it was my first experience in the year, Y2K, 1999, 2000 of going viral. They're like, every artist I look up to, every writer I look up to in comics was like, we don't know who the fuck this kid is, but he just committed career suicide. And then once again, shame. And so like, if I go back to all my shame stories, I go, what's the through line? And we should have made the secret word shame, but, I'm a shame chaser. Like I get high off shame. Like what's my drug? Oh, workaholism. It's like my drug that I've chased my whole life is shame and anger. Like fucking powerful drug, And so I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm never gonna get to draw the Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and I have at this point, and I went through the back door, which I always do. It's true vandal. But I just remember going, holy fuck, this is the worst day of my life. Like people that I look up to, there was like a whole thing of like, I don't know who this Dave Choe, I've never heard of him, but he's a horrible human being. Listen, and I was like, but there was context. Like you should have heard how I heard it in my head. Like I was, and they're like, oh, it looks different. And I was like, holy fuck. And that was my first experience of just feeling like me following a pattern of trying to replicate hatred towards me. Like if it's, but not knowing it. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And like some ignorance, some playing dumb, some like repeating patterns like a monkey without knowing. And so I had a friend in comics at the time because I was just like, I was just making art. I was going out doing graffiti every fucking night, just doing that OCD, playing music in my head and just tagging up everything. Like the kind of graffiti you're not supposed to do. People's cars, houses. Like I wanted someone to kill me. Like I didn't care. Like I wanted someone to be like, dude, I worked hard for that car and you just ruined it. And in my head, I'm like, but I'm a famous artist, which I wasn't. I'm 23. And they're like, I just made your car more valuable. That's how I'm thinking, but I was out of my mind.
You probably did make their car more valuable in retrospect. Can I ask you a question about the shame?
Absolutely.
I have a friend, he's a addiction trauma counselor guy, amazing guy. He's been on this podcast, his name is Ryan Suave. He has a gift for helping people understand trauma and addiction and this kind of thing. We haven't talked a lot about addiction yet today, but you said you got addicted to the shame. And do you think, I mean, who knows? Here I'm using my intellectual brain, but do you think that that these oscillations of like your mindset, like I'm a great artist, I'm the greatest artist, sets it up so the shame is that much deeper? Like it's like loading a spring? Or because he told me once, Ryan once told me, he's worked with heroin addicts, drug addicts of all kinds, sex addiction, everything. And he just said, he goes, gambling addiction is the worst because the next time really could change it all. And he said, but there's something really interesting and that happens to gambling addicts. He goes, eventually they get tired of winning and they get addicted to losing.
Happens really quick. So I have my own feelings about this subject. I'm a severe gambling addict. Like I told you, I'm going to time jump. So I'm at the, I'm at that point, but I'll jump to current, which is a very shameful thing for me to admit or talk about. But I'm here, so I'll just go there. Shame is so powerful because at this point, I've been to all the 12-step meetings. I've been to Debtors Anonymous, Business Owners, Debtors Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Workaholics, sex and love addicts, sex addicts, gambling, like every single. And so what's the through line? Every single one is gambling. Every single addiction is gambling addiction. If you drink and drive, you're gambling. Your life could be over and if you overeat and you're diabetic, it's just every fucking addiction is, addiction is one of those things you can't apply logic to. And your scientist friend nailed it. It's, as I explore my feelings, because the people, what are you running from, Dave? It's like, well, I'm fucking running from myself, dude. I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see myself. I hate myself. So I'm just running. So as long as I'm like doing graffiti, running from the police, just hopping on a train, like literal running, like literally running to make sure I'm never sit still for 1 second. Like, what are you doing, Dave? I'm playing drums in a band. I'm fucking, at a casino. I'm traveling, doing the news for Vice. I'm painting at this. Like, I can't sit still because that means I have to sit with myself, and I can't do that. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I can now. So, you know what feels good? Winning a lot of money. Not working for it and sitting down at a casino and them knowing who you are and upping the limits and you literally making enough money off baccarat or blackjack, what people don't make in a lifetime. That's an insane feeling. How many shits do you think I took today before I came here? Rob, how many? 2. One big one and one little one. Like, scientists don't know what causes IBS. I do. It's stress. When I was gambling, when I was at the height of any of my addictions, 7 shits a day at least. Just like, okay, like just like, and you would never see it on my face, or maybe you would, but I felt like I could gamble with a fortune in front of me and lose it and win it and like nothing. Like I was, disassociated, dead inside, whatever you want to say. I didn't feel anymore, right? Like the highs were so high. I had already been chased by the cops. I'd already been beaten the shit out of. I've already been molested before. Whatever you could do to me, you've already done to me, and I'm still here. What can you do to me that I'm my worst enemy? Like I beat myself up, right? When the gambling stopped, when I got into recovery, I take one shit a day now. When this fucking asshole asked me to do the podcast, I start stressing. I've taken, when was that, like a few weeks ago? Oh shit, dude, I just took 3 shit. It started again. Because I don't have stress in my life anymore. Or like I have whatever, normal family stress, but I don't have, oh, you're going to say something on some guy's show and then your life's going to be ruined again. You know, like I've done that so many times. It's like, so I'm like, fuck, I just woke up. I just already took a shit. Why do I gotta take another one? I'm like, oh, the IBS is coming back because there's a part of me that's like, I hope I say something horrible today because then I could feel that again. And so what people, when they're listening to this, and I don't know if I'm making, when I talk, sometimes I make sense to myself and sometimes I don't. But if you're an addict, it will make sense to you. If like everyone listening to this is either an addict or someone in their life is, like their family member or their friend. But at this point, with social media and their phones, everyone's an addict, right? You can't stop. It's just impossible. You will never find anything more addictive than a phone, right? So in the time that, like, I haven't been in an actual casino in 10 years. I've banned from all these casinos. The whole world became a casino. You can't go anywhere without gambling now. Fucking lottery. You can go on your phone. You could bet on, anything, right? So at first, in every addiction, you want to win. Oh, fuck that. I can relate to drugs and alcohol, even though I don't do that. But like, that must feel good to like get a little drunk and then be the funniest guy at the party. Or so eating the most delicious foods that I ever ate that I never thought I would eat in my life. And then, okay, that's good. Your body feels good. Why do you need to eat until you're puking and you become like binging and purging? Like what? Because what you don't understand, because you're applying logic to it, is I want to fucking hurt. I want like winning $1 million feels fucking great. Losing $10 million feels even better. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like getting married feels awesome. I mean, I'm just making shit up, but like put like greatest day of my life, right? Like greatest day of my life. And I could get dark. I'll try not to use dark examples, but when something awesome, marriage, having a child, winning a lot of money, doing drugs and having one of the best days of your life, like just when it's on the good side, it feels, that's why you do it. Heroin fucking feels good. I've never done it, but the description of it is like, that sounds awesome. Why would you not do it again? But then when you're fucking scratching your skin and sucking dick for fucking crack, like that's another high where you're at the bottom. And that's a repetition of the pattern of whatever your childhood was. And so I don't fucking know Andrew besides his online persona, right? Like this is our first time meeting in person. It's like, this is not me being a know-it-all. Like humans are not that difficult to understand. We're very simple. Like I called him immature a little bit before, not to be insulting. It's just like, part of me is like, this is me being a hater. Like I love everybody, but I'm just like, what fucking adult gets tattoos? Like what kind of fucking adult gets? And I know you got fucking tattoos. I don't know.